bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they spousal abuse you? Bad boys, bad boys. That's what they do. People hate me because I talk about it. Bad boys, bad boys. So when I got pulled over, my super famous 13 million views video, I put in there that 40% of police abuse their wives. And so many people were butthurt by that. But and they said something about it in the comments, but they wouldn't take the 30 seconds to type it into a Google search instead of writing it on my comments and saying I'm a liar. So here you go. An actual journalist, Matt Agorist, actually did a story about it. So multiple studies show nearly half of all police families experience domestic violence. Startling data from multiple studies show that police officer families experience domestic violence at 4 times the rate of everyone else. Yeah, because cops have that mentality and they're trained to be dominant and domineering and violent. What a shocker. And I believe those people with those traits are the ones who look for police jobs. And the standard is so low to become a cop in America, they get the jobs. So he makes a good point here. Every time a football player, NBA star, makes headlines for domestic abuse, the country goes up in arms as fake news outlets talk about domestic violence among these industries. Because of this phenomenon, 69% of Americans think that there is a widespread domestic violence in the NFL because of the media, people. Same way Obama got elected from being a nobody to the Messiah of America. The media, people. Same way Ron Paul got marginalized and dissed and called a racist. The guy with the most integrity in Congress over the last 100 years. You know. Anyway. But the reality is domestic violence among NFL players is well below the national average, coming in at just 5%. On the contrary, however, every time a police officer, someone who has sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution and the law, beats their significant other, it barely registers as a blip in the media. Wonder why that is. This is in spite of some incredibly disturbing numbers when it comes to domestic violence among police. The average rate of families who experience domestic violence in the country is around 10%. So one out of every 10 homes is the national average. When we look at police officers' families, however, that number quadruples. That means 4 out of 10 homes of policemen and their families, there's spousal abuse going on. As the National Center for Women in Policing points out, that's the source I found, 2 studies have found that at least 40% of police officers' families experience domestic violence. The most recent data on the matter shows that officer-involved domestic violence, or the acronym for it, is a major problem. Individuals who are the victims of domestic violence at the hands of police officer batterers, I hate words that end like that, batterers, are often in a unique and particularly vulnerable situation. Unlike most victims of domestic violence where the success of protective efforts depends on the cooperation of law enforcement, those subject to officer-involved domestic violence may, for a variety of reasons, be unable to secure the assistance they seek. This is particularly troublesome in light of increased rates of domestic violence in police officers' families. Oh, so it's hard to hold them accountable, huh? That's the same problem we're all having. Step 1, don't marry a cop ever. Sorry, drinking some water. I actually have some water this time. Even more startling than the fact that 40% of police officers' families experience domestic violence is the fact that this number is likely far higher, as it is estimated that much of it goes unreported. Oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. According to Lee Goodmark, author of Hands Up at Home, Militarized Masculinity and Police Officers Who Commit Intimate Partner. The data on intimate partner abuse by police officers are both dated and potentially flawed, but in many ways that make it more likely that abuse is being under rather than over-reported. Most of the studies rely on self-reporting by police officers to establish prevalence of abuse. Self-reporting is notoriously unreliable measure, As one study noted, the issue of reliability of self-reports data is problematic when considering any socially undesirable behavior. The problem of police violence oftentimes comes out in full display in the form of violent murder-suicides. That's true. Tampa PD had 2 within 3 months this year or last year. In December, the nation was shocked to hear about the tragedy that unfolded in Plant City, Florida, while Hillsborough County, oh, there you go, there's one of them. Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputy killed his wife, daughter, and granddaughter, then confessed to their murders over his agency radio before killing himself outside of a school. They didn't add that part. Terry L. Strawn, 58, a sheriff's office veteran, who was once named Officer of the Year, was the perpetrator. It is unclear how much abuse his family suffered before he made the ultimate decision to murder them. In less serious cases, police have been seen beating their wives or girlfriends in public while in uniform. Oh, nice. As the Free Thought Project reported last year, Officer Ian Ray and his girlfriend attended, McGavick Elementary School for a child's graduation when the two got into a verbal argument during the ceremony. Ray was in uniform at the time, and multiple witnesses reported seeing police officer grab his girlfriend around the neck or hair and brutalize her. During the altercation, witnesses called police, who showed up, then arrested the officer. Oh, I'm shocked they arrested him. So I'm surprised they didn't arrest her for hurting him. He could have feared for his life, In that case, the officer was arrested. Sadly, however, many of these abusive cops are protected by their own departments, and when an abused spouse or girlfriend attempts to get help, they are ignored and the abuser protected. I believe that wholeheartedly. How else could the number be so high? Free Thought Project have previously noted a report by a government-appointed watchdog group shows that most of the time, the abusive officers commit these crimes with seeming impunity. Just like everything else they do, they're sovereign citizens. I can't stress it enough. They are the sovereign citizens. A study conducted by the Domestic Violence Task Force called Domestic Violence in the Los Angeles Police Department. How well does the Los Angeles Police Department police its own? That's a great question. Revealed that performance evaluations of cops with a history of domestic violence are largely unaffected. The study of the LAPD examined 91 cases in which an allegation of domestic violence was sustained against an officer. Over 3/4 of the time, this sustained allegation was not mentioned in the officer's performance evaluation. 26 of these officers, 29% of them, were promoted, including 6 who were promoted within 2 years of the incidents. So police know they have issues with their wife at home and they still promote them. The report concluded that employees with sustained allegations were neither barred from moving to desired positions nor transferred out of the assignments that were inconsistent with the sustained allegation. Sadly, it is estimated that many of the abused women never come forward as they know the likely result, which is getting shamed by the department for reporting it and potentially more abuse. Diane Wettendorf, a specialist on police abuse, points out the most common fears when reporting police domestic abuse in her handbook. If your abuser is an officer of the law, you may be afraid to call the police. He is the police. Go to a shelter. He knows where the shelters are located. Have him arresting. Responding officers may invoke the code of silence. Most likely they will do that. Take him to court. It's your word against that of an officer, and he knows the system. Drop the charges. You could lose any future credibility and protection. Seek a conviction. He'll probably lose his job and retaliate against you. These fears can make someone feel incredibly trapped and feel like there's no way out. If you or someone you know is a victim of this type of abuse, we encourage you to no longer remain silent. As long as people go unpunished for their abuse, they will continue to dole it out. Get a screenshot here. Hey, crop this out. Ooh, it's going to let me crop it out. Crop it out. Crop it out. People hate this the most, man. When I put this in one of my videos, they lost their mind. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Save. There we go. Save. I like how the phone updated yesterday, and it's like a catch-22. You don't want to update because you like the way the phone is, and you don't know what the hell's going to happen to it. And then you're like, I got to do it because the phone's not going to work right. So you hit update. Next thing you know, every single icon is changed. The whole phone looks different. The whole layout looks different. Samsung Health decided to start working and asking me questions, telling me when I should sleep and when I shouldn't sleep. Uh, and it won't let you uninstall Samsung Health. Who do you think you are, Samsung? Don't worry about my health, okay? It's bad enough. Reminds me, I gotta take my meds. My diet for my diabetes. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Women, unless you like to gamble, don't date a cop, or fully vet the cop to try to find the 60% of cops who don't abuse their wives. All right, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the button, hit the thumbs up, hit the join button. When you click subscribe, a little bell appears. If you don't click that bell, YouTube won't tell you when I upload a video, and then you'll contact me 9 months later on Messenger, go, hey man, when are you going to upload another video? And then I'll say 9 times 30 is 270. I'll say I've uploaded 269 videos since the one you watched. Who am I talking to at this point? I can see you. I'm looking at you. Wouldn't that be weird if I could see you? No, it would be even more weird if you could see me. Because the way I look right now, I don't know. I just look a certain way. Is this video ever going to end? Bye. I love you.